When you give the story, people are going to remember the story. And the question is what do you get out of the story? And like all levels of understanding, a particular story can mean different things at different levels. How are you looking at it? You're looking at it from the mundane level, you're looking at it from the emotional level, you're looking at it, from the mental level, you're looking at it from the spiritual level, and where does it have its most impact? Where's your understanding of it come from? And of course, the lower level that you look at it, the least you're going to get out of it. So you have this going on, and the scripture tells you specifically that he took the disciples along and in private taught them the true meaning of the parables. Now, I don't want to say anything here, but we're not all idiots, okay? And so you look at these parables, and it's quite obvious that what we're talking about is doing some good along the way, and that comes up. So how could people not understand this? How could people not understand that? And what I'm saying is there's more to the parable than that. Even the disciples would understand what he's talking about. As someone walks around and there's good seed sown in certain spots that it doesn't endure and it doesn't last, and when trials and hardship come, that all of a sudden it collapses because people didn't get to the root of the meaning or the understanding of it and didn't appropriate it to themselves. They were just flowery words that, oh, I got that. And time again, we hear and we see people saying that they don't need to hear anymore. They already heard it all. Okay, but the trouble is they didn't take the time to think about it and appropriate and go to its depth of meaning. And even in this instance, when Jesus taught the disciples, and that's again why the entire chapter was read, taught the disciples and took them in private and taught to them, they didn't get the depth of the meaning. They didn't go far enough with it. And the obvious example of that is sitting right there in the same scripture. They're out in the boat. He taught them about peace and love and harmony and, God's children, all of that stuff taken care of. And the first storm, the first tempest that comes up, and they're overboard. They're gone. They can't handle it. They can't stand in the wake of what's coming down in front of them. And, of course, he's asleep. And their first thing is, don't you care about us? I hate to point out, but he's in the boat with them. Okay? He's sitting there. But again, there's something, these are stories. And there's something behind the story. And the obvious thing behind the story is there's tons of truth out there, and you need to understand it to the highest level that you can. And you need to appropriate it to yourself. And appropriation doesn't mean, okay, I got that story. Okay, where's my next car? That's not what it talks about. That's not what it's about. When you appropriate something and understand it, and understanding definitely means I stand under what I know. And that implies the use of it. So without using it, you didn't appropriate it, you didn't understand it, and it means nothing. It's table talk. It's getting together and socializing. That's all it is. And until you use it and it's a part of your life and it becomes a working principle to you, you don't have it and you didn't appropriate it. You went and heard it and you can repeat it, but that's as far as you got with it. And you got tons of seed that went by the wayside that gets devoured when the trials come. And that's what happened to the disciples, his closest group. So is it any wonder that mankind as a whole over centuries has had a problem in truly understanding what's going on with the scriptures? And spending time with them and getting the fullness of what it is that he was talking about and then using it in your life. The biggest thing that we've always had a problem with is using it in our lives. And the biggest obstacle to us using it in our lives is because we just want to follow what we want. I want. I can't tell you how many times have I heard that. And people do it time and time again. And then they get upset because they don't have what they need for what they need. It's gone. And they spend it on that want over there, which hangs in the closet. and doesn't get opened again for another year, or whatever it takes, along with a list of 100 other things. You know, how many different, what is it? Imelda Marcos, how many pairs of shoes? I don't know what it was, but it was a bunch, right? Did she really need that? But got her hands on some bucks and control over stuff and got what she wanted. It's for us to understand the parable, to use it appropriate it in our lives, and do something good with every aspect of our being, whatever money we have, how we contribute, what purposes we put it to, and watch the good that takes place from that. And when it's in the right cause, it always flourishes. Always. And there is not, and I would dare say, and I may be speaking out of line, but you know, in the instance that was brought up today, I don't think you'd ever get these two gentlemen to want to take that money back. And I think when they look at it, they're going to know that that expenditure is one of the best things they ever bought, even though they didn't go out and buy it themselves. But it's one of the best things that you could do with it. And so you have to look at that, and you have to appreciate those things that you do and understand properly. And it's for us all to do the same thing. And I do sympathize with the idea that if we could get every member of the ship to contribute $10, that'd be great. But all of those members of the ship are out there spending stuff on what they want. If they gave that money there, then they wouldn't have, you know, a double latte frappa whatever with a muffin with it. You know, so at any rate, this is a portion of the parable that we've talked about today, and we are going to end here. We have other things to do, but we're going to come back to this whole thought and this idea. And the biggest thing is okay, you got an understanding of what that parable means? Then use it. You don't walk down the street and do something else. I got it. Now I'm going to go do this. It doesn't work that way. And you don't get the way of life, and you don't become who and what he was, or greater, by ignoring the lesson. And it takes a lot to bring your desire body into check. No question about it. But there's great power in the desire body for creation. And once you have it in check, you can use it for all types of things. But while it's out of control and running you, you can't use it for anything because it's running you. And all you're doing is satiating it for the moment. But once you have it as yours, you can accomplish great things. So with that thought in mind, let us move forward here. Let's do our acceptance statement. Now, may the light illumine our mind with wisdom. May love fill our heart with understanding. May the one life shine forth from our innermost being, so that we walk renewed in life, love, today, tomorrow, and forever.